Hello everybody, it is I, Bass Fishing Boy, here today with another video. And a few days ago, I was walking to my Spanish class, scrolling through my phone, which I probably shouldn't be doing while I'm walking. One of these days I'm going to run into somebody. Anyway, that's besides the point. As I was doing that, I noticed that Nintendo finally dropped the Wave 6 Booster Course Pass DLC trailer. And I am so excited. After almost 2 years of this DLC, it's coming to a close. And we now know all 48 tracks in the Booster Course Pass. I am just stunned at the amount of work they've put into this DLC and the amount of content it's added into the game. Anyways, with that, I thought it'd be fun to give you guys all my thoughts and opinions on Wave 6 and analyze the trailer a little bit and wrap this series up. So with that, let's get into it. Oh boy, she's back. Wii Rainbow Road makes this long-awaited return and is finally in Mario Kart 8. I cannot tell you how long I've been waiting for this track. I mean, probably since Wave 1. And it looks beautiful. I am so impressed by the Mario Kart 8 team and that they're able to make every single Rainbow Road in this game look completely unique and different. The road textures are amazing, and I'm super excited to race on. I've noticed that the entire track seems to be in anti-gravity, which may be a good thing since it makes the track way more chaotic, which is kind of a theme for Rainbow Roads. However, I'm a little bit scared it's going to end up being like Sky High Sunday, where the anti-gravity physics feel very floaty and makes it not as fun. But we'll have to see when the track comes out. I've also noticed that they have seemed to added back the ramps around the circle sections, which weren't in Tour, so I'm very happy they added those back. I was a little worried they weren't going to, but I'm glad they have. Anyways, with that, let's listen to the music and move on to the next track. Alright, next up we got Tour's Madrid Drive, and this track is phenomenal. By far my favorite city track, and when it came out in Tour a few months ago, I fell in love with it and its music. It has dynamic music, first off, which many other city tracks don't have other than Singapore Speedway. And the track itself is just a great track. It takes you through so many different landmarks of Madrid, and it does something that many other city tracks don't do. It takes you through the landmarks. Like, you are driving through the museum, the soccer stadium. In other city tracks, you're really just driving by them. Like in New York Minute, you just drive by the Empire State Building. You're not going through it or anything. It doesn't interact with the track at all. Anyway, a few changes I noticed to this version of the track is they added a bunch of dash panels in the soccer stadium. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. On one hand, dash panels might make it more interesting to drive through, but I like the soccer stadium part, and I'm kind of scared that now it's going to feel too short. Another thing I noticed is that they changed the wigglers from walking around to sleeping, kind of like what we saw in DS Mario Circuit. So my theory is that they'll be sleeping one lap, and then the other lap when you're driving through the same area, they'll be walking around. Anyways, with that, let's listen to the amazing remix and get to the next track. Alright, next up we got Double Dash's DK Mountain. And in my opinion, this is a pretty good track. I'm not too against it. I mean, I grew up on Mario Kart Wii, so I played this track a lot. And I personally think it's a better pick than Dino Dino Jungle. No offense to Dino Dino Jungle, but I've played it way too much in Tour. Like, way too much. So I'm kind of glad they chose this one over Dino Dino Jungle. Anyway, I don't really have much to say about this track other than I'm pretty excited it's in. And it appears that they have actually changed the bridge section from Tour. They got rid of the ropes that kept you on the track, meaning the bridge is back to how it was in Double Dash and Wii. Ropeless. Yeah, that means that a lot of people are probably going to be falling off there. I also like that the mountain's face is still there. I was kind of worried they were going to get rid of it in 8 since realism, but they have actually turned it into a kind of cutout in the mountain so that the lava has a nice glow through it, which I think is a really unique and creative way to integrate that into the track. Other than that, however, I don't have much else to say about this track, so let's listen to its music and move on to the next track. Alright, for the second Wii track, we have Wii Daisy Circuit. And I'm pretty excited about this one. Daisy Circuit is an okay track in Wii, and I'm not really expecting it to be much better in 8, but it's not a horrible track. I do like that they added a glider section in the shortcut. I feel like that really screamed glider in the original. And I also like this conspicuous little ramp they added at the end of the tunnel, which you really can't see in much of the footage, although you can see characters such as Diddy Kong doing a trick off of it. Another thing they added is a bunch of dash panels right near the lighthouse, which actually offers another route for players to take, so I'm always open to changes like that. Other than that though, the track seems relatively unchanged, so with that, let's listen to the music and race on to the next track. Alright, next up we got Pirahna Plant Cove, and this track looks really good at Mario Kart 8. I mean, seriously, look at those road textures. They are just popping. The track itself is okay. It's an alright tour course, but I think it's going to be a lot better in 8 since it has the ability to now change laps. The original kind of felt a little short, I would say, but with that lap changing mechanic, I think it's going to feel a lot longer and be a little bit more interesting. I didn't really notice anything about this track, but it does appear that these coins here are actually floating in the sky. They're kind of like how they do in the bath bombs on Squeaky Clean Sprint. So I think that's a really interesting mechanic that wasn't in Tour. So yeah. Anyways, let's listen to the music, which is actually relatively unchanged. It's pretty much the exact same as the original. And move on to the next track. Alright, next up we got SNES Bowser Castle 3, and this track looks beautiful in MK8. I mean, it pretty much looks like a base game track, and that's saying something for most of these tracks. I really like this track in Tour and on the SNES. It's probably my favorite Bowser Castle from the Super Nintendo. X-side maybe from Bowser Castle 2. Bowser Castle 2 is pretty good too. But I really like the wall section, and especially now that you can drive on the walls, I think that's going to make the track way more interesting than it was on the SNES. Anyways, while I was analyzing this track, I noticed that they added these lava balls that are jumping over the track in this kind of waterfall, well, not waterfall, lava fall kind of section, which is pretty cool. And I'm not entirely sure if they're going to affect the track at all, or if they're just kind of for decoration. We'll have to see. But they look interesting. I also noticed that these swamps have coins on them, suggesting to me that there's probably a glider section somewhere before there. And I'm not entirely sure where that would be, because I did not see a glider ramp anywhere in any of the footage that I looked at. So I am curious as to where it is. Maybe it's one of those glider ramps that pops out of the ground, kind of like a Merry Mountain or Toad Circuit. But, well, I guess we'll have to see when the track comes out. Anyway, with that, let's take a listen to its amazing rock remix and zoom on over to the next track. Alright, next up we got Tours Rome Avanti. And I don't really have many strong feelings about this one. I'm not in love with the track, but I don't really hate it either. It's just a okay track. I didn't really care for it too much in Tour, and I think I'm going to like it better in 8, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it could be like the London Loop scenario, where I hated London Loop in Tour, but I love it in Mario Kart 8, so it could be like that. Anyway, the track doesn't have many things that stand out to me, other than the Coliseum, which is cool. I like the chain chomps that are added, and I'm praying that in Mario Kart 8, they're not super glitchy like they were in Tour. I mean, who really thought? Yes, these glitchy chain chomps, yes, they look beautiful. I really think we should add them into this game. Anyway, that's about all I have to say about this track, so let's listen to its live remix and move on to the next track. What? How? Pirahna Plant Pipeline? Nope. Pirahna Plant Pipeline? So yeah, they added Rosalina's Ice World, which isn't a bad track, don't get me wrong. I just think it's weird that they didn't add Pirahna Plant Pipeline. I feel like that was a much more unique track than Ice World, but that's alright. It's just going to be weird that it's going to be the only Tour track to never make it into Mario Kart 8. Anyways, Rosalina's Ice World is a pretty good pick. I am happy that it's here because it's a fun track to race on. I like the ice half pipes, they're pretty cool, and the section where you can choose to either drive underwater or on the ice, I think that's also really cool. And I'm glad the little penguins are back. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to say other than I'm just baffled by why they chose this one. But anyway, let's listen to the music and wrap this series up. And with that, the Booster Course Pass is over. It's been a heck of a ride of speculation, leaks, and everything else that came with it. I'm happy that it happened, but I am a little sad that it's over. And yeah, I know I didn't really talk much about the characters, but trust me, my thoughts on them are fairly boring. I don't really care too much about all of them, except for Pauline. She's a little interesting. But I'm probably just going to keep using Petey Pirahna, because he is honestly so sick. I'm gonna be honest, I love Petey Pirahna. But anyway, with that, hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was really fun for me to make, and it was really fun to just be on this journey with you guys. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!